Well, this is Bobby at Copel TV Repair. Sounding maybe a little agitated because I just did that same video, which needs to be 10 or so minutes long, and at the very end it interrupted because of a phone call and it stopped, and because of details that I will get clear in the video that may have been interpreted incorrectly. This is a functionality proof for Visual XVT473SV main board, and I'm focusing on the unique markings on the board so that customer can know this is their board, or rather this is the board that we are referring to. It was sold on eBay on the 17th of December 18, and we entered into a lot of adventure since that I'm going to be telling you about while the board is working in the set. As you can see in our usual and typical setup that can be seen in all of our videos, HDMI to the media player, powered by USB from the TV. So this board was sold to somebody on eBay called Fred Stevie on the 17th, and the next we hear is on 28th we received the following message: the buyer, Fred Stevie Service, would like to return the item for another one just like it. Comments on the return are defective, doesn't work, or defective. The board you sent us does not work. After 5 minutes of being on, the part fails and it does the exact same thing as before. I will get back to that. We were gun shy on ordering from a repair service, but we gave you a chance and you made us realize why we didn't want to do it in the first place. This was a shame. We either want a new board sent to us or a refund, and this is where nabbing out at so many different levels. I don't know where to start. So instead, I will just read what we get back to on the exact same day, December 28th. We say the following: sorry to hear that. We will approve your return, after which we will put the board in the testing set, which is exactly what we're doing here. If the board works fine, we'll make a video record lasting at least 5 minutes, since they say after 5 minutes, to prove it works fine. And I want to make one of the nabs on the initial comment is, so after 5 minutes of being on, the part fails, and it does the exact same thing as before. What is that thing? And what does the exact same thing? That part that they have never seen before does the exact same thing as before, that they've never seen because they just received it brand new, or the TV does the exact same thing as before. And if the later, well, we'll keep on reading our response. If it does not work as you claim, we will let you know, apologize, and issue prompt refund. It is fairly rare for those boards to develop issues after having worked for some time, so we do not usually test them, just like we do not test every single one of the built-in applications or the Bluetooth keyboard unless we have reason to look for those things. Which is fairly sure. Correct, those are smart TVs, they have tons of functionality. We don't check for things that we have no reason to expect have failed unless particular feedback points us there. Which is why we're making this video 10 minutes. So yes, it is always possible that the board may have an issue, and that is what warranty is for. On the other hand, if two boards cause the exact same issue in your TV, it is also entirely possible that the problem is not in either of them, don't you think? And this refers to the command that after 5 minutes of being on, the part fails and it does the exact same thing. So you have a system that is made up of many modules, and that system malfunctions, say, after 5 minutes of work. So you pull out one component out of that system, or one module, replace it with another module, and the system does the exact same thing. What do you think, that you have two defective modules, or that you picked out the good module, replaced it with a bad one, replaced it with another good one, and of course you get the exact same result? The original complaint is illogical to the point of this is really a shame that the TV repair service would bring up the logic that I repair something with something else, I see the exact same problem, therefore the problem is in you. And this is just so illogical, it bugs me, it honestly does. But this is just the beginning of the whole story, and in the meantime I'm also checking, we're still running good. So we respond on the 28th, and we approved the request, as you can see. And then on January 4th, something will happen. Before January 4th, I get a phone call from a very upset lady who confuses screaming with being right. And she tells me pretty much the same story, that they sent us their old board and that they haven't had money for it, and that the board that we send them is defective, and this is something that we should not have never done in the first place, and now we have their old board and their money, and their new ones is not working, and I need to issue them refund immediately. To which I calmly responded that if we already received their own board, I didn't even know this was this case. She never gave me a chance to actually ask what this is about. She told me that we have a board of theirs, that it was already received, and I told her if we already received the board and processed it and issue a refund for it, there's no way we can return it back, because she said that they will go to another service, whatever, Vis Parts or something, and they will need their old board back. And I explained that if we have received the old board and processed it, there is a very good chance it may have already been repaired or even sold. And even if I want to, I cannot return her old board back in original condition. But more importantly, I still didn't know I was talking about this case. More importantly, we first have to have our board that we sent to them, because for all that we know, it may be working good. To which she explained to me again in the style that is used by people who believe that screaming makes you correct, or being not sarcastic. She wasn't sarcastic, she was just attacking. She explained to me that this is whatever 30-year-old TV repair service, and they know how to diagnose their boards, thank you very much. And she hung up the phone, neither before or after that. She threatened me with police and with courts, and then she went on to review this. This is happening on the 28th, I believe, or no, the 7th. So she left this review on Google, which says, we ordered a part from them and they asked us for old part back in return for a $60 credit. We got that new part installed and it's defective, and we asked for our money back and the original part. They refused to give us our money back. Thank God for eBay warranty, and they won't give us our board back because they fixed it. And on top of that, guess what? No credit for it as well. So shortly after she left that review, she called me again, and we finally got to understand what this is about and who are they. And I can show the message. Actually, this is the message that we... No, it's in a different place. Doesn't matter. We found out that we have not... We haven't given them money back because we don't see their board here. That's what we established. I asked for a tracking number that shows that the board that they sent us, the old board, their original board that is a trade-in, was sent to us. And since we haven't, I didn't see us having processed it or having issued credit, that meant that we can indeed return it, which was good news for them because that's what they wanted. So once I knew what this is about and I could not find an order, I asked her for we were on the phone because she called again. I asked for a tracking number and she gave me a tracking number for something that was delivered to them. She was on the phone with eBay in the meantime and she couldn't get me a tracking number, but she promised to get back. That was several days ago. And she was insisting that we have our board back. Their board back and our board back. She said that both were sent. Well, here's the interesting part. We were speaking on the 7th, and maybe an hour after original call, which is documented in my response to them on Google. Here's what eBay sends us. So we provide return information based on their request, the date in which they ask for return. On January 4th, which is when we talk, which is when that review is left, about an hour after she called me on the phone, they shipped the board back. The one that they accuse us of having. The other one, their original, this is our board, that one that is working here, and let's make sure it's still working. Yes, it is. So it actually worked all night. We left it here, I don't remember when, and it stayed up in the morning, and all morning we were busy packaging, shipping, the usual stuff before the carriers come. And this is the time when I have all that. So long story short is, this board is working here ever since it arrived. Somebody made a lot of mess, that lady. Made a lot of invalid claims. We still don't know what happened with their original board. They haven't given us tracking number, but they claimed we have that board because they returned it, they said. And this is to show that they only started returning it after we had the conversation on the 4th. Today is the 9th, 5 days ago. So that board, our board, came out and worked straight out of the box, and it still works. Again, 10 minutes. I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm going to pull the menu. Let me see where the menu is. And that's the smart menu. And my laptop is a little bit on the way. Okay, that's the menu that pulls up to. The board is working fine, and I apologize for such a long post. And it wasn't very well presented the way I wanted to present it, but because I'm still mad at having to do it for a second time. But somebody spent a lot of negative energy on us. And I told her on the phone, I hope you have a better year. This is one of the many cases where we get a board back, but this time we also received a negative review on Google, to which we responded. And we posted actually a negative review because of the negative review back on their website, just to bring their owner attention to the fact that somebody was making a lot of claims that they couldn't back up. And this is one of the many other such claims. I don't know what it originates to. It may be not the fault of the person who did it. Somebody reported that board bad. It is not bad, it is working fine. And because they want an exchange, we can exchange it, we can send them another one. In my opinion, we can just ship back this one because it works just fine. We're on record here for 13 minutes according to my phone. And it's still working steady. Again, it worked for about 12 hours. Since we shut it off this morning to frankly get a break from this music. And that is all. There is another board that is here that I'm going to be making video shortly after this, which was returned for warranty repair, and which indeed does have a problem. And we will apologize to the people, whatever caused it, we don't know, because I know we test boards before we send them back. But we have a different case, and there is nothing wrong with admitting to receiving a board that does not work as performed. That's part of the business. That's what warranty is for. It's factored in the price. As long as it doesn't happen 90% of the time, which identifies poor workmanship or poorly selected repair or stuff that you have to get rid of if you want to stay in business, it's perfectly normal. This is not the case here. This is a board that works fine, and a company, or rather a person, that simply does not know how to do business. I'm sorry, I'm straightforward with that. I wish them best of luck and expect their response.